Dead weight, bad contracts. Cubs lose to Philadelphia because of a couple of guys that are really scuffling.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Please support the show and be a part of the Locked On Cubs community by following on your preferred audio platform. And you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's Wednesday episode, as we're zooming by here this week, is presented by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. The Cubs are almost guaranteed a loss when Jameson Taillon pitches this year, and I didn't realize it, and perhaps you didn't either, as the Cubs lose 5-1 to the Phillies Tuesday to begin a 6-game homestand and an important 13-game stretch before the All-Star break. Cubs are now 2-11 this season when Taillon is the starting pitcher. On Tuesday, he went 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Brandon Marsh did the most damage with 2 home runs off the first-year Cubs pitcher. Remember, Taillon is in the first year of a 4-year, 68 M's deal. On the season, he now carries a 6.90 ERA in 58 2/3 innings. Sam, he's basically been an automatic loss in 2023.
Yeah, and it's a simple issue that I don't know when I say simple, I mean simple to diagnose what the problem is. I don't know what the solution is. Righties are hitting 282 against him, but with just a 691 OPS, meaning he's actually had some bad luck against righties. He's really limited the damage against them. Lefties are basically Barry Bonds against him. They're just basically Barry Bonds against him. And today it was Brandon Marsh with 2 more home runs, another lefty. This is a guy in Taillon that was able to get out lefties last year at Yankee Stadium, which is a lefty's paradise. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the Cubs tried to tweak with him and it hasn't worked. This has been an issue for Wisniewski this season. This was an issue last year for Alzolay. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the solution is, but that's the problem. He looks defeated out there. His body language is awful, even when he's going right. When he pitches well, it feels lucky. This is a guy that early in the year I felt like was a victim of bad luck, and then he had a beautiful start at a game I was at Dodger Stadium, and it looked like he was fine. And then ever since coming back from that weird, mysterious groin injury, he's been as bad as you could possibly be. And when you add up his 2-11 record when he pitches and the money that they spent on him in the offseason, and you combine that with Trey Mancini's $7 million, 2-year, $14 million deal, you have 2 guys that have just been absolute negatives in dead weight that you paid for that are killing you. And they're not just killing you on the margins, they're killing you where it's right in front of you. Just real quick on Mancini, and I'll let you handle the rest of the Taillon stuff. He went 0 for 4 with 3 Ks today, and they have to DH him because he can't play first. And what that means is you don't get a chance to watch Miguel Amaya hit. He's taking at bats away from people. He can't hit. In the last 365 days, I just looked it up, Trey Mancini's batting .217. Enough of trying to make it work with these guys because you gave them bad deals. Put them both on the IL and worry about it in 6 weeks.
Wow.
No, if you're serious in a pennant race, these guys are absolute liabilities. They're both liabilities.
They're basically unplayable.
How can Taillon take the ball? When is he supposed to pitch against the Brewers?
He's not, and I have a graphic for that, as a matter of fact. He is responsible for 28% of the team's defeats this year. Almost a third, in between a quarter and a third. And he as of right now is not pitching against the Brewers. But I'm here to tell you this, player. There is no way on the face of this bad air quality earth that Taillon can start again in the first half. This stretch is too important. You want to go 7-6, 8-5 in this 13-game stretch to finish the first half? They're 0-1 automatic. Automatic 0-1. He's going to start 2 more times. He's going to pitch more than a third of the starts to finish the half. There's no way that can happen. Someone else is going to have to fill those 2 outings. One is the series finale against the Guardians, and the other is the series opener at the Yankees. Okay, here it is. It's snakes, the graphic snakes, if you're watching, and then we'll go through it if you're listening. Okay, so Taillon, Smiley, Hendricks to open this stretch.
And can I just cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
I don't like any of those matchups this week against Philly.
Wow.
I just don't. I wish there was a way. I wish there was a way to move it. It's just a bad matchup.
Well, that's what they decided.
Yeah.
Steele, Stroman, and then it would be Taillon against the Guardians. I suppose one reason Taillon let off on Tuesday was because he's not then a probable for the Brewers series. As of right now, it's Smiley, Hendricks, Steele, and Stroman. Then you would need to fill that spot in the Bronx, and then Smiley and Hendricks would finish out the half. So there's 2 more spots that are critical right there. You could make a case that every game is critical in this half, but obviously 7 out of 13 would be with a goal. 8 out of 13 would be excellent. But that's what it looks like right now, Sam. And there's 3 options for this in my mind. One,
not Wisniewski.
Well, one is Taillon can make 1 or both of those starts. 2, he moves to the bullpen the rest of the half, and they do a test kitchen out there, whatever that is, against righties. 3rd, he has an IL stint followed by a rehab and then returns sometime in late July in the second half.
Yeah.
You have 4 40-man roster options for those 2 starts outside of Taillon. You have 2 underwhelming options already on the major league roster, Assad and Wisniewski. And then you have 1 underwhelming and 1 intriguing from AAA, Caleb Killian and Ben Brown, respectively. So this is a problem.
Assad would be a much better option than Taillon.
And he would pitch Sunday against the Guardians and then potentially lead off against the Yankees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's I would just flip Assad and Taillon.
Okay.
I think that's the easiest thing to do. I just think people say, well, why not Wisniewski? Because he has the same exact problem as Taillon.
Similar, yeah, right.
And he has not he hasn't proven that he could get that fixed. And he's in the bullpen. Just if he was in AAA pitching better, I'd say absolutely. But he's not. So I've seen enough. I've seen enough of Taillon. I've seen enough of Mancini. Remember Luis Torrens. Remember Edwin Rios. It's just too much dead weight when you are. Think about how close they are. If Cincinnati holds on late, they're going to be 3.5 games out. Think about those 3.5 games. Taillon, Mancini, Fulmer, Torrens, Rios, just Hosmer. All these guys, so much marginal, so much just beating on the margins by just when it's clear and obvious these guys aren't any good right now.
They're horrific.
And the Taillon thing is a real problem. You know, maybe you could package a prospect and get off the Mancini deal in the offseason. This is a lot of money. 4 years, $68 million. And I get it. Look, pitchers are so the variables with pitchers, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Alex Manoah was competing for Cy Youngs just a year ago.
He started the All-Star game last year.
He started the All-Star game last year. He gave up 10 earned runs today at high A ball.
Rookie ball.
It's It's unbelievable.
It is.
From year to year how it changes. And I have my own thoughts on that, maybe for an off-season episode about the over analytics and
Sure.
the reliance on spin rate and pitch shape. And when something's just slightly off, everything crumbles. But Jameson Taillon better figure it out quickly. And he's going to be in the starting rotation next year. They're not going to eat it that fast.
No.
And so he's going to have to figure it out because it was so obvious. I didn't even have a chance to take a bite of the sushi I had tonight. And I looked up. Marquis was late. They missed the first pitch. And as I look up, as we get back from commercial, it was Schwarber rounding first.
Yeah, and I had a similar experience. I was driving back, pulling into my spot outside my place here at 7:05. I get everything up. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and then
it's a 7:07.
And we have to mention, even though I agree with what you're saying, the offense tonight was awful.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to say
you saw it early.
Yeah, I texted you early. The at-bats didn't look competitive.
No.
Look,
a lot of ground balls all day.
I keep saying it, and so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'll just say it for the last time this week. The Suzuki thing has to get fixed. He's killing. He has got to start hitting or move him down the order. Today,
it should be both.
If you're watching on YouTube, watch my hand. His hand turns over so much when he swings. Did you notice that when he struck out, he was shaking his hand?
Well, I mean, I could try to call Kaz on the speakerphone. You're trying to do a hitting lesson.
No,
but,
it's just he
rolls over a lot of pitches. I get it.
And his frustration levels at an all-time high. Helmet slams.
Wow.
His body language is. He's got to get going for this team. He can't be at 6 home runs. I know Ian Happ hit 2 in Europe. He's at 7. Those guys got to slug.
I would be perplexed if Taillon stays in the rotation for those 2 starts. And I really am starting to get on your wavelength with Mancini.
Oh.
For these next 12 games, why should he play? Why shouldn't it be Amaya? Why shouldn't it be Jared Young, who we're going to talk about in a couple minutes? Why? Do you really want to be buyers? Then you have to win 7 or 8 games moving forward here before the break. You have to. You started 0-1.
I don't see a point. I don't see a point for Mancini's roster spot besides the fact that they owe him money.
Right.
I just don't. Bellinger hits lefties better than he does. Young's up. Amaya's up. Tauchman, these guys. I'm just gonna.
Then I got to say something because it is a talk show, and I'm frustrated. Basically, a colossal failure of an offseason by Hoyer. Outside of the Swanson signing and Bellinger.
Yeah, no.
Barnhart's here for defensive.
No,
reasons and pitch calling.
No, it's not been good enough.
But Mancini, Taillon, Hosmer, Fulmer, Rios. I mean, are you serious?
The only pass he gets is that he was able to.
What did you pay for?
He stayed away from.
Not even average, mediocre.
The fact that he stayed away from Abreu, Rodon, Correa, and Turner is what he has to hang his hat on. Maybe. But it's ugly. It's ugly. These guys are zeros. They
are.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Mancini that much of an upgrade this year than Frank Schwindel?
Not based on what we've seen. Frank the Tank is in Japan.
No, and the Taillon contract is reprehensible. Think about if they didn't make that contract. It's that $68 million that they could have gave somebody else, like a third baseman or a competent first baseman.
And unfortunately, that was the price last winter. But yeah, let's start looking at the other pitchers. One of them's throwing Thursday for the Phillies. Taijuan Walker that got big money. So
yeah, and he's been much better than
he's
Taillon.
Improved a lot.
Yeah, he's been much better. And the next 2 nights, you're going to see a lot of comeback 2-seamers to righties, and you're going to see a lot of called third.
Well, and Smiley versus Nola, and why called thirds though? What are you proving with 2 strikes as a hitter by taking a called third?
Because they give up.
What are
They
you
can't see
proving?
that. They can't see that two-seamer.
So they don't even have a chance to foul it off or tip it?
I'm just saying. I hope I'm wrong. I got bad vibes right now.
But
So
what are you proving, dude?
this has been a long segment.
It has been. It's over half the show. All right, everyone stay safe out there. I don't know if they should even play this ball game, dude.
No, can they retroactively postpone this till?
Yeah, because of the air.
Yeah, the air wasn't right.
Right. Well, you've coughed a couple times, so I'm worried about you.
No, I haven't. It's nothing to do with the air with me. It's a whole list of problems.
Coming up next, the Cubs had a series of promotions up and down the organization, including one new player to the Cubs. We talk about it next. Today's episode is presented by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. The Cubs play the Phillies at 7:05 p.m. Central Wednesday, and you can listen to every pitch with the Cubs hometown broadcast in SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Cubs, or tune into channel 844 and catch the Cubs all season long on SiriusXM. Jared Young was called up to the Cubs on Tuesday. Miles Mastrobuoni sent down. Young slashed 326, 426, 605. Very impressive line there at AAA Iowa. 13 bombs, 45 runs batted in. Additionally, pitcher Jordan Wicks and shortstop Luis Vasquez were promoted from AA to AAA. And also pitcher Michael Arias promoted from low to high A. What do you think Jared Young's role will be? Because he's flashed a lot of power so far at AAA, but not sure he really has a starting spot.
It sounds like Bellinger's ready to go back to center, which means Young could get the ABs versus righty and first base. The question is what do you do with Tauchman?
Well, you would against righties, at least Wednesday, for example, he should be the DH.
But
if
then
Bellinger's in center,
then where does Morel play?
Wow, that's right.
You're a guy heavy. I got a little bit of a proposal for you.
Right. Well, they don't try him at third, so
I got a little proposal for you.
Right. Oh, you're not happy.
I'll give him 1 or 2 more games. If Suzuki doesn't start hitting, he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be taking it back. He's the weak link right now.
Wow.
What is he, 0 for his last 13? There is no way on God's green earth that Mike Tauchman should lose ABs. He's the leadoff hitter. He has sparked this club until I see otherwise. If he starts to struggle, fine. If Young's up there, fine. Somebody's got to – who loses plate appearances? Let's just go through it, right? Against right-handed pitching, you have –
Tauchman's been the leadoff hitter. He's going to be benched.
Horner, Suzuki, Happ, Dansby, Bellinger – Madrigal, Gomes, Morel.
Yeah.
So who loses out?
Right. It would be Tauchman or Morel. If Bellinger's truly going to center, Young has to play first because it's not going to be Mancini. So it's Tauchman or Morel.
Well, and it should be neither.
Right. That's messed up.
Unless Seiya Suzuki starts, and I want Seiya Suzuki to figure it out. But the Cubs need to stop making decisions based on what they paid people. They kept Hayward for too long. Just because Suzuki has a 3-digit number next to his name doesn't mean he's guaranteed. If Jared Young is going to absolutely slug against righties, and by the way, 2 guys that would love to see him get 2 chances these next 2 days. And Bellinger goes to center. By the way, Bellinger hasn't exactly torn the cover off the ball. He had a couple cheap hits today. Who loses the at-bats? My guess is it's gonna be Morel. And I'm not sure that makes you better.
Yeah, and do you try Morel and right? Do you try Bellinger and right? Guess it's options.
I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, versus a righty, Happ's untouchable, Dansby's untouchable, Horner's untouchable. I don't know what you do.
And Madrigal.
Yeah, because no one can play the position. I don't know what you do.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who's out. I guess you could do a little rotation, like for example,
Doesn't have to be the same every time.
Yes, like for example, Young could play tomorrow, and they could just give Suzuki a day because he needs a day.
Please.
Yeah, he needs a day. But that's not a permanent solution.
No.
Then what? And don't do this where if Young goes 0 for 4 tomorrow, then he's done. And it's somebody else.
He doesn't play till Sunday.
Yeah, if he's up here to hit righties, he should be in the lineup.
Now, was anybody flat out said, though, that's why he's up?
Well, what?
Well, I understand that's why he would be promoted, but they I think in their mind, they're trying to maximize the roster. And in their mind now, they just have a better depth with Amaya and Jared Young on the bench.
Yeah, and all right.
So,
I don't get it. Maybe he's just going to be treated like Rios and Terens and Mastroboni, and they'll just have a rock, paper, scissors turn. The fact that Amaya, who's I think one of the most underrated prospects,
I don't have evidence that he's not going to be used that way. Do you?
And by the way, if Mancini is going to be the DH against lefties, can we just send down Amaya, please, and get him at bats? This guy's a real life prospect.
Right. All of a sudden, would they not prioritize player development? That's why they kept Morel and Mervis down to begin the year.
I just don't understand. This guy has shown nothing but a chance to be a really nice catcher in this league. He's only up because Hendricks, who's the smartest pitcher on the team, loves to throw to him.
So we have a lot to think about. Who gets the start for Taillon in those 2 spots?
I don't have a good vibe right now.
And what's that rotation that we just spoke of in terms of the positionally? So we all have a lot to think about.
Tomorrow's lineup will be fascinating.
Okay, what was that mechanic right there?
I'm just checking. Sorry, I'm just refreshing because the Orioles and Reds are back to playing after a delay, and I like to see Baltimore have a late rally.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And I believe even if the Reds win, the Cubs are still 3 out.
No, I think it'd be 3.5.
Right.
You have a hard time with the halves, dude. Right. Well, let me fact check.
No, I do. I do have a hard time with that.
No, yeah. So if the Reds were to win today, the Cubs would be 3.5.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think you quite get that.
Right. Well, they could have taken advantage with that big Brewers defeat. So
no, they could have, and they didn't. And they were, and there was never 1 second where I thought they would. So
not even a
on that note, happy Hump Day to everybody. And
right. We're gonna get out of here.
I hope that Thursday's episode finds us much chipper. Let's get some guys that get paid a lot of money that produce.
Shout out to the everydayers who are with us all 5 episodes throughout the week. And you can become an everydayer by checking us out each and every weekday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube.
I love
and smash the like button for the algorithm.
What a team.
Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, and streaming on SiriusXM. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.